Hello Living Dead Dolls fans, this is Josh aka Doggy Pants coming at you with another Living Dead Dolls review. Today I'm actually reviewing Series 3. We're just going to keep going, see how it goes. So let's get started. We're going to start with the coffins like we always do. Again, standard black coffin, no handle. It's got the pink tissue paper, just like we've seen for Series 1 and 2. And it almost has the exact same chipboard as well. So we see the hand-drawn version of the doll on the right, the doll's name, and then the poem on the left, and there is a little bit of blood splattering as well. So it's exactly the same. Pink tissue paper, everything else. So they've got kind of a theme going on right off the bat. But that's the coffin. Let's get started on the reviews. Again, I'm going to start with my least favorite and go to my favorite of the series. So here we go. First up is Schizo. And Schizo's actually a pretty good doll. I'm just not a big fan of the scary clowns. And I also find him a little kind of boring. I like dolls with hair. And so I'm not a big fan of the boys that don't have hair. So let's check him out. Okay, his outfit is, I don't know what material that is. It's kind of a shiny, plasticky feeling material. It is like not a vinyl, but something like that. And then we have around the neck, around the bottom of the legs, and around his sleeves there. It's kind of a velvet material. It's pretty nice, feels a little lush. It's all one piece and it does Velcro right up the back. He has these really adorable star buttons up the front. There's 3 of them. They are sewn on, but they do not snap. There is no opening along the front, so they are just for detail. He has the standard Living Dead Dolls boots. One nice detail, though, is that he has the red shoelaces, which I think is pretty cool. No socks, though. No socks on this doll, so that's his outfit. You do want to be careful because there are a few stray threads here and there, and I don't know if that's just from age from this doll or if that is standard with Series 3 dolls, but just a heads up. He has this really cute little hat here. It is glued into place, so you would need to pry that off and probably remove any kind of residue if you wanted to display him without it, so just a heads up. His face paint is probably the best thing about the doll. It feels a little bit like John Wayne Gacy, and I believe he shares his death date with John Wayne Gacy. But it has that same kind of painting, the blue eyes and the red mouth. There's quite a few bits of little black details, so we have kind of these little spider legs coming off everywhere, or tree branches. It's a pretty nice detail. He has a little red pupil with a white dot in the center. It's pretty nice. There's no stray paint or anything like that. It looks like it was done with really good care. Unfortunately, I bought this doll open, so he did not come with his accessories, so I don't have the balloons to show you guys, but I can describe them because I've had them in the past. It's 3 balloons, and he has a peg in his hand here. And there's 3 balloons, and they have little plastic sticks that they're on, and they all come together at the bottom, and there's a peg that you can put into his hand. So it's supposed to look like he's holding the balloons, and, there's helium or something, so they're floating. But unfortunately, the balloons are also made of a really, really thick plastic. So the moment that you put the peg into his hand, the balloon will just turn and fall down from the weight. So it's pretty much impossible to display him with the balloons, so just have a heads up on that. They're a really cool accessory, just I don't think it worked out the way that they hoped it would. So that's Schizo. Moving on, we have Lilith. And if you know anything about the Bible, Lilith is Adam's first wife and is also the first ever vampire from legend. So here we go. This is the Living Dead Dolls' first vampire that they ever released, and it's also the first doll to ever have an open mouth. So there's Lilith. Her outfit is, it feels similar to the Series 1 felt, but it has more give to it, so it's almost a little more velvety. It has the jagged cut on the bottom, so it feels a little like Lily from, is that her name, Lily from the Munsters? Or Morticia from the Addams Family. What the hell's wrong with me? Yes, looks like that. She has a bit of a poofy sleeve, so there is some volume at the top of her shoulders, and then it's a very long sleeve. She has this really nice detail. Oh, let me take that out. She has the front here. It feels a little bit like a kind of a worn muslin, so it's a different material than this, obviously. It has a very high neck, and that color of the collar goes all the way around. It's one piece, and it velcros up the back. She also has this really cute bow right at the back here with some long lace that hangs down. So it's a really nice detail. She has a witchy boot with no socks, just a heads up. Her hair is actually probably the best rooting from Series 3. It's thicker. The only problem is she was one of the first dolls to really have a kind of a greasy hair problem. Her and Bride of Valentine, well, and Lottie, frankly, from this series all had extremely greasy hair. So you may want to wash them. The grease and the age from them being so old really makes for kind of a nasty feel. So just a heads up, if you do get a Series 3 doll, you may need to clean them up a bit. And they are also quite tangly. It feels a little bit like the issue that I found with my Series 1 Posy. So just a heads up on that. Her body is blue in color. We don't have that many blue dolls, so that's kind of nice. She has a few... Am I making this up? No. It's really faint, but it is there. She has kind of a few veins on the side of her face. You can kind of see one right there. They're very faint, but it is a really nice detail. Again, she has the open mouth. She has the vampire teeth. Some of the other dolls with the open mouths we've seen with just regular teeth, some with braces, DK. A lot of blood that goes down onto the front of her dress as well. And this is actually from a wound we'll get to in a second. But she has yellow around the eyes, a green pupil with a little bit of a design to it, and then extreme, almost cartoonish, really thin, arched eyebrow. But that is her face paint, really clean, really nice. Her accessory, and you saw it when I first held up this doll, is it's a stake that you can actually put into the doll, which is a really cool detail. It's bloody and it's sharpened. There is a peg, though, so if you want to just have her hold it, you can. But it's a really nice little accessory, and I'll show you how it works with this doll. If I can get her dress off. All right, here we go. So, her body has a little slit in it right there, and then there's blood in the actual doll itself, which is pretty nice. It's a slit, though, as opposed to a hole. I'll get to that in just a moment. And there's also a slit in the dress so that you can put the stake through it. Unfortunately, because it is a slit and not a hole, it's very difficult to first get this accessory into the doll because you actually kind of have to bend the plastic. And on top of that, the tip of this is not that sturdy. So getting the piece in can be a little bit difficult. But once you bend it, the first time, it goes in much easier. So you can display it like this in the doll, which is what I like to do because I think it's a cool accessory. So why not show it off? Yeah, but that is Lilith, the first vampire. Next up is actually one of my favorite dolls from this series, but the quality is so poor that she's in third place, and that is Lottie. So Lottie is a very simple doll, and like I've said, I love the simple dolls. Her outfit is just kind of a coat, like a rain jacket, and it's similar to material that we saw on Schizo, except that it's white. And then the collar and the cuffs and the little detail around the bottom of the jacket is a similar material to Lilith, so it's kind of that felt velvety feel to it. She has 4 black buttons that go right down the front of the jacket. They are not snaps, so we've seen snaps in this kind of situation in the past on some of the dolls, but this is actually Velcroed all the way up the front. So that is her outfit. She has the standard Mary Jane shoes with white socks. Her face paint feels very much like a Series 2 doll. It has the same kind of dirty, kind of purplish, darkish shading around the eyes. She has a very simple black eye with a white dot in the center, kind of a purplish black lip, and then pretty standard, simple Living Dead doll's eyebrows. It's a really nice detail. Where this doll falls flat is her hair. And anybody that's opened a Lottie doll before can attest to this. Her hair is usually going in a million different directions. I think it was the first time they really tried to have a... Well, no, that's not true. The Exorcist kind of had a similar haircut and hers looked much better. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but... the bangs are usually a hot mess. They go in every which direction. It's hard to get her hair to lay flat. because she's extremely thinly rooted, so you have to retrain the hair to cover all of her scalp, which is a bit of a pain in the butt. I've had to, this is my third Lottie, I think, that I've owned for my personal collection. In every case, I've actually, what's the trick for living dead dolls or doll collectors in general? I put rubber bands in place to hold the hair where I want it to be. And I'll actually dip her a couple of times in boiling water. And what that does is the heat from the water will melt the plastic in her hair just enough to keep it in the way that you have it situated with the rubber band. So it's a little bit of a cheat to help get your doll's hair to look pretty nice. But this is actually after the boiling, so it's in much better shape than it has been in the past. One of the other problems that I have with Lottie, and this is a problem that we've seen with a lot of living dead dolls, is she has, not too bad, there are some that we may get to in the future that are worse, but she has wonky leg syndrome, which basically means that one of the legs, whether it be something with the mold in the joint of her hip, or I don't know what the situation is, but one of the legs is slightly shorter. So it makes them really difficult to stand. And what I do in those cases, sometimes I'll put a coin or a folded up piece of paper in one of the shoes to help kind of make up for that difference. So that's a trick. One of the other problems she has is I need to stick my pelvis way out syndrome. So I don't know if you can see this. If I were to get her legs to be straight, her feet would go up at an angle and she couldn't stand. You actually have to stick her pelvis way out to get her to stand properly. And again, that's some sort of manufacturing detail with certain dolls. And that still happens today. I think the Hazel, not the Hazel, what doll was that? Gretel. It was Gretel. She had it extremely bad. So yeah. So you just want to keep an eye out for that. Some of the times in the past when I've been building up my collection, I've actually bought a couple of different Lotties and then sold the one that, you know, had wonky leg syndrome. Sorry, people that I sold it to, but to get dolls that I like to have in my collection. She's not too bad, so I've kept her. But yeah, you want to keep an eye out for that. But that is Lottie. She's a beautifully designed doll with a heck of a lot of flaws. So just a heads up. Next up we have Sheena. Sheena was a punk rocker. Awesome, awesome doll. She has so many details in her outfit, and she has a working zipper on the front of her jacket. So you can actually zip it all the way up to the collar, which is a really nice detail. The zipper is kind of large for this outfit, but hey, what can you do? It doesn't bother me too much. The back of her pleather jacket has Punk's Not Dead written on it, which I love. You can take the jacket off. And underneath she has a pleather skirt. She has suspenders, which actually are made of elastic, so it does have some sort of give to them. She has this cute little metal necklace here hanging down. She has a shirt that says No Future. And the shirt actually has sleeves, which is this is something that we rarely see on living dead dolls with coats. They usually just leave it as a sleeveless shirt, but this does have sleeves. This is all one piece, so you cannot separate them, and they actually Velcro up the back. She comes with these really cool kind of torn up nylon stockings, which I love, or fishnet stockings. Really, really nice detail. And then she has the standard Living Dead Dolls boots with the red shoelaces. So that's a really, really nice detail. She also has black fingernail polish, which is cool. Her face paint is one of the most beautiful for the Series 3 Living Dead dolls. It's very, very well done. Black lips. She has red eyes with a yellow pupil. She has this nice shading underneath her eyebrow that goes to her eyes with a perfectly arched eyebrow. She has a lip piercing, which is really, really cool detail. And then on her right ear, she has 2 piercings up top. And then on the left one, there's 1 on the bottom. So she has a lot of piercings too, which is really, really cool for this doll. Oh, before I go on, I forgot to show you Lottie's accessories, so I'm going to jump back to her real quick. Lottie comes with an umbrella, and it does open. It's a lace umbrella, so it's really pretty. Nice detail, all the lace there. The only problem is it has nothing to latch onto when you open it, so it will not stay open. You'd have to get kind of a little rubber band or something to hold it open. It does not have a peg. It has a handle where you can kind of shove her hand through. She doesn't hold it very well, but, you know, what can you do? And it has a little skull on the end of it there. So sorry, I missed that. Lottie's accessory. So anyways, back to Sheena. So yeah, that's Sheena. Her hair is the oh-so-standard haircut from the 90s. Anybody that was in high school in the 90s will know exactly what I'm talking about. We have the shaved back of the head with the long bangs in the front, and it's bright red. So I think I've seen a couple girls that actually had this haircut before. The hair in the back is actually glued on. It's not rooted, so it's kind of like a felt feel to it. One thing you want to be careful with, and this is true of any dolls that have this hair, it's really easy to have a doll that has the top of the crown of her head rubbed off, so rubbed raw. You want to make sure that your doll doesn't have that, just a heads up. The quality of the hair is a little rough. It needs some love, and as it gets older, it seems to get worse and worse. So just want to keep an eye on that. She has probably the best accessory for Series 3, which is the awesome baseball bat with 3 nails sticking through it, and they're kind of bloodied. It's really cool, kind of gruesome accessory that she comes with, and it does have a little peg here so she can hold it in her hand. So awesome accessory. That is Sheena, which means that the best doll of Series 3, in my opinion, is Bride of Valentine. Bride of Valentine was the Living Dead doll's original nod to Bride of Frankenstein, and you can see it in the design of the doll and everything. But she's got kind of this retro feel to her, and I love it. She's beautiful. She has a very simple dress. You know, it's all one piece. It has 2 little teeny straps here on the top. Around the top of the dress is kind of an old lace feel to it, and it's all just kind of a muslin, dirty muslin. There is a little bit of blood around her heart, to imply that her heart's bleeding. It's on the dress, it's not on the doll. So just a heads up there. That's pretty much all of her outfit. The only other part of it is that she has these plaster gauze wrappings on her arms and her legs. And her arms, it goes from about here, so just under the shoulder all the way to the wrist. And on the leg, it goes from just above the knee all the way to the bottom of the foot. So that's really, really nice. They're very hard because it's plaster gauze and glue, basically. So, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so it's not coming off. Those are there to stay, just a heads up. She has a Living Dead doll boot. It has a little bit of a bigger sole to give her kind of that Frankenstein feel. And they're kind of a blackish brown in color. They kind of have a dirty feel to it. Her hair is decent. It's actually kind of thinly rooted. It's not as bad as some of the other dolls, not as bad as Lottie. But you just want to, you know, give it some love. It's a little tangly as well. She has white rooting on the top with the black underneath, which is, again, kind of a nod to the Bride of Frankenstein. Her face paint is really, really beautiful. She has, again, that kind of shading around her eye. It's a little bit more blue than purple, like we've seen with Lottie. She has the cuts on her face, which is definitely a nod to the Bride of Frankenstein, and goes all the way around under her chin and back up the other side, and then along her forehead as well. She has a Bride of Frankenstein kind of eyebrow as well. One eye has a red tint to it, and the other eye has blue, and then she has kind of well, she does have a red lip as well. Her accessory is also very beautiful. You know, we had some really cool accessories in these first couple of series. It is actually her heart. So we have a heart, and it's got some veining in there, and it does also have a peg, so you can stick it in the hole of her hand as well, so she can hold that, which is nice. That is the Bride of Valentine. So that's it, you guys. I don't know how well they're going to all stand up here, but I'm going to try. Series 3. Yeah. How are we going to do this? Well, I'll hold them up one at a time to give you scores. How about that? So here we go. Out of 4 stars. For Schizo, I'm going to give 2.5 stars. His design is actually kind of boring in my opinion, and is not my favorite doll. That doesn't mean that you're not going to love him. I know a lot of people that he is their favorite. So, you know, judge for yourself. But in my opinion, 2.5. Next up, we had Lilith. I would give Lilith 3 stars. There is some quality issues with Lilith, but the design is really nice, and I love that her accessory can be actually inserted into her body. Lottie, Though she is above Lilith for me, I'm going to give her 3 stars on quality. I wish I could give her more. The design is so good. Quality is so poor. But what can you do? Sheena, 3.5 stars. Great doll. Yeah, really, really cool. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm going to give Sheena 4 stars. She's a great doll. And the quality is great. And the amount of clothing that they put on her is really incredible. And then also Bride of Valentine, 4 stars. Great, great dolls, series 3. Yeah, so there we go. This one was a little bit longer. Sorry, guys. I'm trying. Next week, I'll be back with series 4. So thanks so much for watching. I hope that was informative. And we'll just keep going from there.